Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into J.L. Collins's game-changing book, The Simple Path to Wealth. We're going to break down his powerful roadmap to financial freedom, and trust me, it's a lot simpler than you've been led to believe. Everything, and I mean everything, in Collins's philosophy starts right here with this one core idea. This isn't about getting rich just to buy fancy stuff. It's about buying back your time, your choices. Really, it's about owning your own life. So before we get to the solution, we've got to understand the problem. And Collins argues that most of us are stuck in a trap that's become so normal we don't even see it anymore. He tells this great little story to explain it. You have the minister who gets to live a life of luxury, but the price, he always has to serve the king. Think of that high-paying, high-stress job you can't ever leave. Then you have the monk. He chooses a simple life, and because of that, he's totally free. He doesn't have to answer to anyone. So the question is, which path are most of us on? Well, Collins says our society is constantly pushing us down the minister's path, chasing a lifestyle that keeps us catering to somebody else. And the proof? Just look at the insane amount of consumer debt out there. We're talking around $12 trillion in the US alone. It's become so completely normalized that we just see it as a part of life, not the trap it really is. Collins really doesn't pull any punches here. He flat out says that debt is just a modern form of slavery. Yeah, you might have nice things, a gilded cage, but it shackles you to a job, it kills your options, and it eats up the single most powerful tool you have for building wealth, your income. So what's the way out of this trap? What's the antidote? The goal isn't just to get rich. It's something much, much more powerful. And yeah, it has a name you won't forget. He calls it FU money. And look, this isn't about a specific number in your bank account. It's a state of being. It's the point where work becomes a choice, not a necessity. It's the freedom to say no to a boss, to a job, to anything you don't want to do. In one word, it's freedom. And you know, this isn't some crazy idea just for millionaires. Collins' own story shows you how powerful this is. When he was just 25, he'd saved up $5,000. When his boss told him he couldn't take unpaid leave to go traveling, he just quit. And guess what? Suddenly, his boss was ready to negotiate. That little bit of money gave him instant leverage and control over his life. That's FU money in action. Okay, so that's the goal. How in the world do you get there? Well, this is the best part. The path to this kind of freedom is shockingly, almost unbelievably simple. It all boils down to these three simple, timeless rules. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference, and avoid debt like the plague. That's it. Seriously. In a world that tries to sell you on complicated financial products and secret strategies, Collins says this is the only formula you'll ever need. It's not about being clever, it's about being disciplined. And what about that second rule, invest the surplus? Well, Collins says you really only need one thing, a broad, low-cost, total stock market index fund, like Vanguard's VTSAX. Basically, with this one fund, you own a tiny slice of almost every major company in America. So instead of trying to pick winning stocks, which is basically impossible, you're just betting on the long-term growth of the entire US economy. It's a much simpler and frankly, a much more powerful strategy. And hey, don't just take his word for it. This isn't some weird fringe idea. It's almost the exact advice that Warren Buffett, probably the most successful investor of all time, has laid out for how his own wife's money should be invested after he's gone. Simplicity works. But here's the thing. Knowing the path is easy. Actually walking the path, well, that's the real test. The strategy is simple, but the challenge is all in your head. It's having the guts to stay on it when things get scary. Right, because the biggest thing that will knock you off the path is your own fear. The stock market is a roller coaster. It will have absolutely terrifying drops. And our gut reaction, our human instinct, is to panic and sell at the absolute worst possible moment, blowing up years of progress. Collins is crystal clear about this. Market crashes are not an if, they're a when. You have to expect them. They are a totally normal, predictable part of the journey. The secret is knowing this, expecting it, and then doing absolutely nothing when it happens. Just keep buying. He has this brilliant way of thinking about it. Imagine a glass of beer. The beer is the real stuff, the thousands of productive companies you own in your index fund, growing over time. The foam on top is all the day-to-day market noise, the scary news headlines, the crazy price swings. Successful investors just ignore the foam and focus on the beer. So what's the solution? Well, in his typical blunt style, Collins says it's not about being a financial whiz. It's about mastering your own emotions and just having the toughness to stick with the plan when everyone else is losing their minds. All right, let's bring this all home. How does this simple framework actually put you in the driver's seat on your own journey to freedom? It honestly is this simple. Number 1, know that debt is the enemy. 2, make real freedom, that FU money, your actual goal. 3, follow the path, spend less, invest the rest, and stay out of debt. And 4, build the mental toughness to ignore the market foam. That's it. That's the whole game plan. And that really brings us to the final, challenging question. Collins makes it so clear that building wealth isn't some secret that only a few people know. The path is right there, and it's simple to understand. The only real question left is a personal one, for you. Are you tough enough to walk it?